If I could sum up this movie with one line, it would be, just because you can doesn't mean you should. What's going on, people? Alex Thorn here, and I'm just a rock and roller who in his downtime likes to watch movies while wearing a bandana. And this time, by request of my friend, I went to go see The Flash. Now look, I don't watch superhero movies. I really don't. The last superhero series that I really watched and was into was the Fox presented Marvel movies of Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, I believe his name was. That's the last time I really saw and was okay and into the superhero movies. But the issue that I noticed back then was the issue that exists today, and I'm going to dive into that in just a little bit. But with this movie, The Flash, I went in there without knowing anything about The Flash. I never read a comic book that involved him. I never been interested in this character. But beyond being invited by my friend to go watch this movie, I was also wanting to see the movie because of Michael Keaton returning as old school 1989 Tim Burton Batman. And that's what got me out there, and that, by the end of this review, is you're going to realize what kept me awake during this movie. Whoever directed, whoever made this movie, and maybe the movie prior, decided to cast somebody named Ezra Miller as a superhero. This person reminds me so much of Justin Long, and I don't know anybody in their right mind who would ever cast Justin Long. No offense to you, brother, you're a good actor, but don't know anybody who would ever cast Justin Long as a superhero. As well as I don't understand why this Ezra Miller person was cast as anything heroic at all.
What the hell is even that?
And then this movie takes that a step further and gives you 2 of him, and by the end 3 of him. And it's like, why would you decide to cast somebody as your lead role in a movie who is unbearable to watch, unconvincing to look at? I don't get it. This casting is just not for me whatsoever. There's not one moment that I enjoyed with him. There's really not a lot of other players in this movie outside of Ezra. You see a lot of him. And Michael Keaton. And of course, Ben Affleck. I don't understand how he doesn't have his own solo movie as Batman yet. But to me, there's no argument that Ben Affleck is Bruce Wayne. He embodies Bruce Wayne entirely. I want to speak about the amount of CGI that is in this movie, and obviously it's in all of the other superhero movies, which is why I can't watch them. There's times, many times in this movie, where you don't feel, at least I didn't feel like I was watching human characters, human people play a character anymore. I felt like I was just watching a very, very cleaned up PlayStation 5, a cinematic in between the gameplay, where they're explaining the story to you, where it's just nothing but computer graphics. 85, if not 90% of the movie just feels fake. It feels like a cinematic in a video game. Much like pro wrestling got to a point where it was just too much, and there's so much going on that nothing really matters. I feel like superhero movies did that to action. And this is the perfect example of that. As I opened this video saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Not only is that something that, you know, is a theme in this movie with Barry trying to go back in time, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And when it comes to all of the visual effects that go into these superhero movies of the last 20 years, really, doesn't mean you should. I think it's time to get to my rating, my bandana rating for The Flash. And I'm going to give The Flash 2 bandanas out of 5. And the reason I'm going to give it 2 bandanas out of 5 is Michael Keaton's in it, Ben Affleck's in it. And by the end of this movie, somebody else is in it. That's it. That's really the only reason I'm going to give it that. Michael Keaton does an amazing job. He feels like Batman. He fit right back in the suit. Did his deal. He looks great. The music, very key. If you're a Tim Burton fan and the animated series fan from back in the day, it's all there. And I would love to see not only Ben Affleck get his own movie, I would love to see Michael Keaton get his own Batman movie again. And I would like to never, ever, ever see Ezra Miller grace any screen ever again. Alright guys, that's my review of The Flash. And I know you might throw daggers at me, but I'm going to be honest here. This stuff just isn't for me. Alright guys, are you a fan of The Flash? Are you a DC or Marvel fan? Who's the best Batman? And do you actually like Ezra Miller in anything? Let me know. I'm Alex Thorn. You know what I gotta do. I gotta rock out so I can watch some movies.